Breaking down all 26 things you missed from Survivor Season 47, Episode Several. We're talking all things splitting into two different groups, Andy in rough shape, Saul finding the advantage, Tiana having a big cry, and much more. Shout out the man Jelinski. Careful for any spoilers if you haven't seen Episode Several of Survivor 47 yet. And make sure to stick around as we announce last week's puzzle giveaway winner. If you want to enter next week's giveaway, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below which of my replica puzzles is your favorite. Let's get started with number 26, previously on Survivor. That's correct, we are now crossing the halfway point of a top tier Survivor season. Logistically, I would complain about the twist this episode as it doesn't make any sense at all. 3 episodes in a row, we had split into groups, and split into groups. There is no world where I call this a merge. Number 25, return to camp. Teeny is one of the main narrators of the season and breaks down the main takeaways. As Rome is finally gone, the amulet advantage was played, and the decoy plan last episode was Andy. And that right there, the decoy plan being Andy, is super important as number 24, Andy is confused. Ultimately at Tribal Council, the only known vote for Andy was Saul, which puts Saul in a really bad spot to start the episode. I'll be honest, it's really good to see the way Saul talks, super calm. We're actually going to see it again later in the episode as well. But then Saul drops a complete bomb that Sam threw out Andy's name on reward. Although it's not fully true, there's a few lies sprinkled in. This fully puts Saul in the driver's seat and turns Andy into a free agent. You already know there's an easy way not to be the backup plan on Survivor. Practice the challenges and win individual immunity. Number 23, challenge beast. Guess what, team? I'm in a good mood with Survivor 47 and I want to celebrate with a huge Survivor 47 discount. If you didn't know, Idle Plays is my passion project where I make replica Survivor puzzles and games for superfans. And one of the games I'm most proud of is the endurance challenge, Will It Go Round?
At regular intervals, you'll move farther down the beam, making it more difficult. If your ball drops or you step up, you're out of the challenge.
This challenge has been seen in Survivor Season 35 and Survivor Season 39. Now that the players of Survivor 47 have merged, this is the perfect challenge to practice your endurance and practice your individual challenge skills. So if you're interested in checking out Idle Plays and supporting me in the channel, please consider going to idleplays.com and checking out the puzzles. And remember, the first 10 people to use the code ROUND25 get 25% off this endurance challenge. Number 22, Andy in rough shape. It might be a hot take, but leave a comment down below if you enjoy the Survivor producers messing around with the edit here. For me personally, I love when they spice things up and add any fun elements to the editing. Ultimately, Andy's in full shock mode now, not knowing who to trust in the game and definitely not trusting his Yellow Alliance. Number 21, Andy and Genevieve. In my opinion, Genevieve is genius for this as Andy is so vulnerable right now and desperate to find an alliance. We gotta remember, last episode, Genevieve lost her number 1 ally in Rome and Andy is fully on the bottom right now. So the Survivor producers are showing us sprinkles of a big move coming soon, but then a Survivor twist is going to be getting fully in the way of that. I'm really looking forward to next episode seeing how this Andy and Genevieve alliance goes. Number 20, camp life moments. Low key, I wish we could get more of these camp life moments with 90-minute Survivor episodes. Without any time to breathe, we get a mysterious tree mail arrive. If you saw the press photos before the episode came out, you already knew what was coming. Although Rachel feels good with the Blue Tribe, she was about to get swap screwed here. Really, the talk of a woman's alliance happens every season and almost it never follows through. And we even get a shout out to the Black Widow Brigade by Teeny.
It's been done before. We've seen the Black Widow Brigade pull off some of the best moves in this show. Since then, it gets snubbed before it even gets a chance to kick off and start.
Number 19, Tiana calls her shot. We all know what's coming later during the episode. It was a live tribal council. It was a great tribal council. And looking back at it, it makes perfect sense why the producers planted the seed earlier in the season of Tiana being in danger. I don't want to hype myself up too much, but I was on the Survivor Specialist podcast last week and I saw this coming a mile away.
Obviously, it doesn't really matter with 11 and 12, but I'm assuming you go Sam 11 and Tiana 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so we both have Tiana at 12 because I have Tiana in the same spot there.
Number 18, twist. I don't know if I call it a twist if we all know it's coming. Jeff Probst is obsessed with small tribes, so we are splitting into 2 groups. The only thing I wasn't sure about going into the episode was if both tribes were going to be going to tribal council. The challenge is fairly simple with balancing a ball as long as you can, and whoever lasts the longest overall wins food for their group and avoids tribal council, and whoever lasts the longest on the loser's tribe wins individual immunity. And because this isn't enough of a twist, we have even more added on, with the person being voted out this episode not making the jury. This is literally not a merge. Number 17, the groups. This fully reminded me of a throwback Survivor season with Survivor All-Stars when Amber got completely swap screwed just like Rachel got swap screwed here. This was completely insane as it was a random rock draw to decide the groups. On the yellow group, we have Genevieve, Sierra, Teeny, Saul, Andy, and Sam. And on the flip side of things, on the blue group, we have Sue, Caroline, Kyle, Gabe, Tiana, and Rachel. And we gotta shout out Christian. He put a tweet up that the odds of this happening were completely insane. Number 16, apply for Survivor. If you're like me, you're always yelling at the TV when Jeff says to apply for Survivor, but you never know. If I get more subscribers on YouTube, maybe Jeff will start to listen to me and put me on Survivor. If you aren't subscribed yet, please do so and help me pass Russell Hanson subscribers. And as a bonus, once we hit the big 10,000 number and 10,000 subscribers, I'll be making a dedicated video interviewing the guy Russell Hantz. Number 15, the challenge. Just based on the balance and lower center of gravity, typically on Survivor, the women do better in this challenge. But low-key, this challenge was anticlimactic with ending out of nowhere when Kyle dropped on blue and Teeny and Genevieve were still alive on yellow. Although Kyle is starting to turn into a little bit of a challenge beast, winning the first 2 individual immunity challenges of the season.
Kyle, for the second straight time this season, individual immunity is yours. That means you are safe tonight, cannot be voted out of this game.
Thank you, sir.
Number 14, winning group. Again, I want everyone to hear this. It's not a merge. Part of me was kind of hoping this group of players would be going to tribal council instead of the other group. We have a way more interesting split here with 3 original yellow members in Andy, Sam, and Sierra, and 3 original red members in Saul, Teeny, and Genevieve. With Andy obviously being on the bottom in his alliance, and Teeny probably being willing to go to the other side. Number 13, the reward. How the past few episodes have played out with pretty big reward challenges. It's kind of ridiculous seeing players like Teeny getting 3 awesome rewards in a row.
Teeny, I can't have you getting too drunk here. I gotta hold it together through tribal for me.
I'm gonna need like a buddy.
Number 12, advantage on reward. Teeny talks about an idol back in the game with the amulet being played. This would make perfect sense to have an idol back in the game, but we're talking about a completely different advantage here. But before we talk about it, we need to jump to the losers, leading into number 11, the losers. We already talked about it, but we need to throw it on screen again. Remember, this breakdown was insane. This was ridiculous. I have yet to see Gabe fully back up his amazing confessionals this season. With that being said, they are very intense.
All these people are in this game are tools for me to use, and having this Tuku majority survive as long as it can is a very valuable tool.
Number 10, the obvious vote. No joke, what Tiana describes makes perfect sense. The only issue is that she never had the connections to back up her move. Just imagine what happens if these players vote out Rachel. That means left in the game we have 3 yellow, 3 red, and 5 blue players left in the game. That's way too big of a target, so it would make the most sense for these blue players to vote out a blue player. The main issue to this plan is Rachel leading into number 9, the shot in the dark. Not Rachel exactly, as obviously she wants any plan that works. The issue is that if she plays her shot in the dark, she can't vote. And with 6 players, Tiana and Kyle really need Rachel's vote and ultimately Caroline's vote to blindside Gabe, as Sue would never vote him out. Number 8, back to the winners. Ultimately, they are all in a food coma after eating everything on reward. Any Survivor superfan would know this is never a time to rest, as usually after these split groups there's some sort of an advantage, but Andy straight up does it in the craziest way. Like in confessionals, Andy's always talking this big game, but then in practice he always fumbles.
All over. You can't like track him, and I'm like, that's just not somebody I can work with.
I feel like if you go looking for an advantage this early into merge, you have to be sure that you can find it.
Number 7, Saul finds the advantage. I get why the producers edit the back and forth like this to keep it suspenseful and the viewers hooked in, but all the jumping back and forth really starts to get confusing as Saul finds the advantage, leading into number 6, Tiana and Caroline. Again, the logic is fully sound where Tiana is coming from here. It just so happens that Tiana is the target and not Gabe. Over the past couple of episodes, we've really started to get more Caroline, and I'm starting to see why she's a top tier player. Caroline perfectly explains to Tiana why Rachel is the smarter move, and Tiana fully buys it. I'll talk about my thoughts more at the end of the video at Tribal Council, but Caroline does a lot of interesting things here.
Personally, I think Rachel is the glue of the Gotta tribe, and if we get rid of her, a lot of options open up for Tiana and I.
Number 5, Gabe and Rachel. I was shook that Gabe throws out Caroline's name as the backup plan and not Tiana's name to Rachel. It also needs to be said, I think there was a 0% chance that Gabe would ever go to rocks for Rachel. In reality, Gabe is just worried about the shot in the dark. Number 4, the advantage. Great little baseball scene here, and shout out to the Dodgers for beating the Yankees in the World Series as Saul finds and reads the advantage. Much like earlier in the episode, the way Saul reads the advantage is just so calm and dramatic. The producers really make this advantage perfect for this situation, as Saul will give someone safety without power, and he's obviously gonna be choosing Rachel. Well, it is between 2 different advantages, but in Rachel's spot, it's obvious what she's going to pick. There's safety without power, a way better option than a block of vote advantage. Number 3, Tribal Council. Well, the producers try to make it suspenseful who Saul will give the advantage to, but we all know who the best option was, as Saul tries to be an actor and plays it off like he had no idea.
You will leave Tribal Council immediately. You will not cast a vote, but more importantly, you cannot be voted out.
Number 2, Live Tribal. Boom! There's huge implications here as the blue tribe must fight it out. Someone is not making the jury, and we get a live tribal council. I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but this is literally a pre-merge tribal council with the blue tribe, just with an audience. As Tiana is in the absolute worst spot, she is crying as everyone starts to whisper a live tribal council. I gotta say it, producers, round of applause. Thank you for giving us captions during the live tribal council leading into number 1, Tiana voted out. I love the raw emotion of every player getting voted out this season, but I want you to pay attention to the way Caroline's acting as this is going on. Anyways, congratulations Jay Hall, you're this week's puzzle giveaway winner. I'll announce a new winner next week, and click right here to go buy and practice the intense individual immunity challenge, Will It Go Round.